name's Jeni and I'm the owner of the Yoga Nook in Simi Valley. And we're offering these classes right now while everybody's stuck at home and indoors. Today's class is a floor practice for pigeon pose, Raja Kapotasana. And if you have hips that are open or externally rotated, then you usually enjoy this posture. And if your hips don't have a bias to that external rotation, then you frequently find this a little more challenging. Let's warm up together, first of all, and we're going to go straight into some movement today. So when you're ready, join me on your back. I like to use a little blanket here for my head so that I'm a bit more comfortable. Bring yourself onto your back and just come into arch and flatten here. So as you inhale, tip your pelvis forward, rocking towards the knees, creating a little arch in the low back. As you exhale, pull your navel softly back towards your spine, pressing your low back into the ground. So the inhalation goes towards your knees, the exhalation tips back and tucks. So we call this arching and flattening. As you make this vertebral wave right the way through the spinal column, the head and neck respond a little bit, being part of that spinal area. And so you'll notice just a sort of little head rocking. And if you're getting that, then you know that you've got some integration right the way through that spinal column. Take a couple more. This is nice and soothing, an easy pattern. So don't present this movement with too much effort. We want to feel that you're making it easy and gentle with yourself. The next time that your low back is into the ground on an exhalation, remain there. And then just softly release that out. Let's separate the feet a little bit more and start with a windshield wiper type pattern, going side to side here, knees dropping over to the right and to the left. And as we go right and left with the knees, notice that one knee moves away from the mat, while the other knee moves towards the center of the mat. And then we just reverse that on the other side. One knee moves away from the mat, one knee moves towards the center of the mat. And here, as you practice this familiar pattern, I want you to focus on the knee which is moving towards the center of the mat. So rather than pushing hard with it, you're just getting a sense that you're putting a little bit more awareness and a bit more effort into the knee which goes towards the center of the mat. And I want you to pause just for a moment as you come to the end of your range side to side, so that you can just very gently press that knee in and then just softly release it as you come into the other side. Go backwards and forwards with this just for a few more times. Finish the one that you're on. And as you come back into center this time, let's exhale, pull your navel back towards your spine and draw your knees into your chest. Imagine you have a pencil between your knees and you're going to draw a circle on the ceiling with that pencil. And feel how that creates this rolling effect on your low back. Let's go a few times in the other direction. The next time you come through center, pause there for a moment and tip yourself to one side or the other so you can come up into sitting. In sitting then, separate your feet a little bit apart and take your hands behind you. Now, if you're finding that the wrists are a little uncomfortable when you prop yourself up this way, feel free to make little knuckles here or even bridge the fingers to the ground so that you keep the wrist a bit more neutral. With the feet apart then, we're going to make exactly the same pattern that we were doing on the floor. But of course now we're able to make more range of motion. Going backwards and forwards, and still I want you to focus on the knee that comes towards the center of the movement. So here as the knees go to the right, you're focusing on the left knee, and as the knees go to the left, you're focusing on the right knee. Come back into center, and then bring yourself into the middle of the mat. Both knees drop over to the left side, and then feel as you drop the knees over to the left side that you kind of roll over a high point on your hip. You can roll backwards and forwards on that high point a little bit. And you may find that that's a little bit tender. That's an area of great insertion for the muscles on the side of the thigh, the back and the front. So you know you're on that point. Can you pivot on that hip point and kind of tidy the legs away a little bit? Now what will happen here is that this knees have gone to the left, the right knee, which is the knee on top, will find its way down to the floor. And what we need here is something which is just going to make the space between the knee and the ground equal, so you're not pushing down to start with. So just bring your blanket around here and pop it underneath that right knee. From here, rotate your body a little bit towards the left side. So there's definitely more weight on your left leg, and the right hip is up and away from the floor very clearly. We'll press this right knee down into the pillow that you've put there and allow the foot to lift up. So this means you've got to create quite strong internal rotation on that top leg. And then very slowly release that out. Let's go again. Press the knee down and lift the foot. And slowly release it. And you can see I'm leaning forward, so I'm unloading the leg. And there's no torque then in the hip or the knee. Let's go one more time. Press the knee down, lift the foot, and then slowly release it out. Ease yourself back into center, and let's turn the knees in the other direction and create that same self pattern with the knees going to the right. So this left knee will be the one that we work the pillow underneath. We'll turn to the right side, presenting the hands as support to the floor. And then as you're ready to, press that left knee into the floor, lift your foot, and slowly release it away. Let's go a couple more times. It's almost a rocking pattern here as you do that. One or two more times. Hold at the top and just slowly release it. One more. Nice. Undo, unwind, and bring the legs out into center, all the way in. And as you can see, I have odd socks on today. So from here, let's play a little bit with lengthening one leg versus the other leg. I'm going to turn slightly to the side so that you can see really what I'm after here. If you sit with both legs parallel, then the legs are approximately, or seem to be approximately the same length. But this posture that we're going to play with today, and one that we're going to play with after the posture, require a little bit of rotation in the trunk. So if we're going to rotate the trunk, we want to start that asymmetry at the pelvic bowl. With the legs straight, ease your right sit bone a little bit forward so that the right foot, when you glance at the legs, the right foot appears to be ahead of the left foot. What you'll find then is that the trunk will easily rotate to the left. So with the right leg longer, the trunk will rotate easily to the left side. So let's come into center. Inhale, keep this distance with your feet. Inhale, float the arms up. And as you exhale, twist and rotate to the left side. Don't force. Come back into center, inhale. We're going to do this just a couple of times. Exhale, rotate to that left side. Don't force your head, just let your head follow a natural movement of the spine. Let's go one more time here. Inhale, fly up. Exhale and rotate to that right side. And back into center, nice and easy. Bring the legs back into neutral. And now let's repeat that on the other side. So the left leg, from the sit bone, the left leg gets a little bit longer than the right leg. And that automatically creates a bias towards twisting to the right. Inhale then, fly the arms up. And as you exhale, turn to the right side. Don't force. Come back into center, inhale, fly up. As you exhale, rotate to the right. We'll go one more time here. Inhale, fly up, and exhale, rotate it to the right side. Ease yourself back into center and even up the legs. Inhale, fly the arms up, and as you exhale, come just very softly over the legs, a soft forward fold, wherever your level is. It may be really quite high, but bring your hands to the floor somewhere to support your trunk. If you've got longer hamstrings and you enjoy that length, you can bring your hands all the way down here and maybe even drop the head towards the knees. But don't force this. It's just a neutral spine pattern. Take a couple breaths in there. With your body in flexion like this, you have an opportunity to bring the breath into the back body. So take a couple of breaths that broaden these back ribs. Inhaling, getting wide in the back body. Exhaling. And a few more there, just feeling that resistance melt as you hold the pattern. On your next exhalation, draw the navel back towards the spine. Let the body round a little bit more as you come back up. And meet me on all fours. I like to have a blanket for all fours work, just to support the position of my knees. Hands come a little ahead of the shoulder, so we're not compressing the wrist at all. And here we can come into that arch and flatten pattern again that we began with. Inhaling, dropping the belly towards the floor, looking forward a little. And as you exhale, tucking the chin and looking back towards the knees. Inhale, belly descends, head looks forward. Exhale, rounding, drawing the navel back towards the spine. Go backwards and forwards a few times with this. And the next time that you exhale, let that be the last time in the series. Send your hips back a little bit, about halfway towards your heels, keeping that roundness in your back. Float back up. Find something which feels between those two extremes, something that feels neutral. And help your left leg to come forward so that you can bring it all the way up here between your hands. Bridge your fingers to the floor. This gives you just a little bit more space. And start to heel toe that left leg out towards the right foot. So that what we can begin to do is lay this side down. And I want to play with that just with a few simple movements, bringing the outside of the knee towards the ground. Not actually coming down, but just making that pattern. Let's go one more of those. And then let's change legs and play with the other foot. So that leg goes back and around. We bring the right foot forward between the hands. We heel toe the right foot towards the left side. And maintaining stability with your arms, begin to just drop the knee down towards the floor. Your whole body should respond. Letting the hip descend. And just allowing that right knee and hip to feel heavy in the ground. Let's go one more. And then bring that leg back around. Hands position on the mat. Curl the toes under. And let's pop this up into downward facing dog. Down dog, let yourself walk the dog just a little bit. Heels might descend. And once you feel your dog sort of settling on, let's get rid of the blanket. Keep it handy, but we don't want it in our way. Step your feet somewhat together. And one of the things that I like to use to prep for pigeon pose is to extend the one leg from the hip towards the ceiling. So take one leg up, bend the knee, and then just rotate to look underneath that armpit. So here I have my right leg up, I've rotated to look underneath my right armpit. I'm going to come back down on that side. I'm going to go to the other side. So left leg raises up, bend the knee and rotate. Turn your trunk so you look underneath the armpit. Let's come back into center. And let's do that one again. So right leg goes up towards the ceiling. Bend the knee, rotate, turn, look underneath the armpit. Come back into center. Descend. And left leg last time. Left leg goes up, bend the knee. Rotate and back into center. Now this time, let's take the right leg straight up and we'll bring the right knee in towards the chest and place the knee on the floor. Slide then the whole body back and lay your trunk down the front of the right leg. This is an interesting posture. It's called swan. And what happens here is that it becomes a balance pose. This is the right leg forward. The right hand goes forward directly in line with the right knee. And then the left hand comes and places itself on top of the right hand. And you tuck your chin. The arms representing the long neck of the swan. And you'll find that there's a little balance required here. 2 more breaths. And then ease yourself back. Slide the right leg back. And from all fours, again, pop up into downward facing dog. The feet step somewhat together.